So welcome to the ARtemis Educational Tech Talk podcast. I'm Jens, your host today, and I have Martin here. Martin, how are you?
I'm good. I'm enjoying Dresden, so I'm having a great time.
That's great to hear. So we dive right into our little talk. Can you share a bit about your personal history and what's your position right now?
Yeah. I'm a landscaper at Green Academy, teaching mostly. And I started out actually not knowing I was going to be a landscaper. I had a lot of different jobs, studied to be a teacher for a little while, but then thought, no, I'm never going to teach, and then decided to do something else. And at one time, a good friend said, well, maybe you should start an education, and I didn't know what to do. And they said, well, a vocational education where you learn a craftsmanship would be nice for you. You like to work with your hands and create things. And I said, okay, I'll try that. And I went to, in Denmark, we have this big site with all the vocational educations. And the first one is A for anlægsgartner, which means landscaper in Danish. And I read that and never looked back.
Oh, wow.
So after, a little over 4 years, I was done with my education, got a certificate as a landscaper, and was soon after hired to be a teacher of Green Academy by my old teacher, now my boss.
And Green Academy right now, it's your school, so it's focusing on green professions mainly?
Or? Yeah, we are a vocational school. We educate landscapers, gardeners who work in big productions, plant schools. We educate farmers and people who drive big machinery for the farms. We also do a bit of teaching of people who works with the forest. We do what's called the basic course, and we do the basic course for zookeeper and horse management. So what we in Denmark call all the green educations we have under one roof. Well, technically two, but one roof in Denmark.
That's right now. There are some modern technologies like virtual reality play already a role or will play a role?
I believe it will play a role. We haven't implemented it on the level I think is useful yet, but we are slowly getting there. Especially in the practical part of things, we don't see that much. But in the theoretical and in the getting the students ready for the real life, we can implement a lot of things. Things like doing. A lot of our students have never had a job before, so having the how do you approach a job interview? How do you approach what's it called? An owner of a company. So you feel confident in yourself and you can get the job. Or on the design part, how do you design a garden? How does this garden look? We are seeing it now in Denmark with especially house purchases. You get to walk around, do a virtual tour of the house. Well, I see a future where that will be possible for the gardener. The gardener the landscaper can design the garden, and then the customer can walk in the garden and see, oh, I want this change, oh, I like this, and implement it in that way.
Okay. Can you imagine some possible challenges a teacher, you or your colleagues might have when using VR?
Oh, absolutely. Because we are not. How do I say this politely? We are workmen. A lot of us. We like to craft. We like to have the things physically in our hands. We like to put down the stone, make the pavement. So sometimes it gets a little airy and a little fluffy for some of my colleagues. They can have a hard time with not feeling the material, having to use this hybrid of I can see it, but it's not there. But the general consensus I feel from my colleagues, especially, is there is a curiosity and an interest in the subject that I think will make it easier to implement. The question is how can we possibly give the best possible skills for these people to use the tools we have available?
Other way around to ask which suggestions you would give a teacher, let's say from landscaping from another school, if he comes to you, I heard about virtual reality, what should I do to get started?
I would start maybe looking at the needs of the class, whatever class he has. If it's a beginner class, you can often utilize virtual reality very easily, because the students don't have the wide knowledge, the complex knowledge it is to do landscaping. So you can simplify it and translate it to VR terms. We have been using in ARtemis this program where you can cut a branch of a tree, or you can change the nutrients for the tree to see if it thrives or it suffers. And these concepts gives some of the students a better understanding, because they can see, if I rob the tree of sunlight, it suffers, and it's easier for a student than to sit in a theoretical learning environment and be told, the tree suffers, but I can't see it. How can I see it? Where can I see it? It's something we practice a lot at Green Academy, that we go out and look at the real world, see what's out there, and being able to bring that into the classroom with a VR headset makes it easier.
Mm-hmm. If you look now at 5 or 10 years in the future, what you might expect when using VR in your school or in your teaching?
I would expect it to be a lot more user-friendly. It is already quite user-friendly, but it will be a lot more plug and play. So even a teacher who might have some technical difficulties will be able to just push a button and then boom, load up the program. I think we will see that the students also will get more confident with the technology. A lot of my students have talked about, not a lot of them, but some of them have talked about owning VR headsets for gaming purposes or in their private life. And I think we will see that number increase, and thereby the technical skills to run a VR headset and use it efficiently will be easier. So you don't have to teach a student, this is a VR headset, this is how it works, this is how they will have that knowledge already going into the item. They will just intuitively be able to pick it up and say, okay, this is how I navigate, this is how my bubbles works, this is how everything functions.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so anyway, a brighter future.
Yeah, brighter future. Yeah, definitely. I think the more we can incorporate these sort of technologies into our work life makes a lot of teaching easier. We are quite used to that the students we get will often not. In Danish, it's called they have black powder in their behind. They can't sit still. They want to work. They want to do things. And this is a way to activate them, where they don't have to sit at a desk. They can stand up. They can do things. And in my experience, every time we introduce such an element to a teaching environment, it makes it so much more easier to get the student on board and get the student motivated to learn. And if you can't motivate them to learn, you can't teach them anything. So I think we will see an increase in both the students' request for it, but also the teachers' curiosity in it.
Well, thank you very much, Martin. Great to have you here. And
great to be here.
Then that's it for our podcast today. Thanks for joining, and listen and see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.